Hello, Chaotic fans. It's your friend Q-Rex here with another video of another Chaotic deck from my collection. This one, I call it Underworld Fire Warriors. Sorry, I'm a little slow today. Underworld Fire Warriors deck. And like my Mapedian Warbeast Strike deck, this is a 60 card deck with 10 creatures, 10 battle gear, 10 music, 10 locations, and 20 attack cards. And I've set it up for what I do for a 6-on-6 match, and then I'll show you what I do for a 10-on-10 match, like last time. And as you probably already know, all my creatures, I'm trying to get them all with max energy so they can last longer. And if you remember from my Mapedian deck, all my creatures have max energy except for Owaiki and Koror. I just recently went on to eBay to get an Owaiki replacement with max energy, so that'll be here soon. And you probably don't know this, but my Blasvitan, all his stats are maxed out except his courage. Thought, wow, that's pretty cool. But this is about my Underworld Fire Warriors deck. Underworlders are probably ranked second as my favorite tribe. They're tied with my Overworld deck, which I will show you probably next week, but I think they're just a bit higher. So let's get started. And as an added bonus, I'm sure some of you know what this is. Not only is this the guidebook, it's also a preview to Chaotic Fire and Stone. And I'll show it to you after I show my Underworld deck. And if you hear me huffing and puffing, that's bad allergies. So sorry about that. All right, here we go. First, the attack deck, like last time. Got 2 fire rams starting off as my strongest fire attack. At first, I thought about putting in a Magmamite, but I'd rather have it. I have other ways that can destroy battle gears, and I think Fire Ram is a better choice, in my personal opinion. Next, we have Dry Touch, because like I said last week, a lot of players like to put creatures with fire and water attacks, so with Dry Touch, I could take away my opponent's water attacks, and it'd be good for a location I'll show you all later. That's that. Gladiator's Fire does it extra damage if my creatures have recklessness, which a lot of them will. So it's a good. And as you notice, I like to add 2 cards with 3 on their counter and 2 with 2 on it. The rest are 1s and 0s. Feel like it'll be balanced out that way. Primordial Rage, in case someone tries to take away my power, but mainly just to do some damage. To Consuming Flame. No effects, but it can do some pretty good damage. To Ember Swarm. Takes away a creature's wisdom. That could be helpful in certain ways, because Underworlders aren't really the brightest bunch of all the tribes. So make your enemies dumb as you. Ash Torrent. Normally this would do 15 damage, but some of my Underworlders have the earth element, so that's why I added this to my deck. To be honest, I'm not too big a fan of doing multiple elements, because what if I lose an element? What then? The attack will be weaker. But you noticed in my Mapedian deck that I had air and earth attacks, but that's one thing. I prefer single elemental attacks That way, if a problem arises, I'll be able to fix it. Smoke surge. A lot of people do use fire attacks, so only use this when you know you're going to attack a creature who doesn't have fire attacks. Ring of Fire. It does 10 damage to yourself, but if you have like Fire 5, if your underworld creature has Fire 5 or Fire 10, it'll do 20 damage to them. It's a risky move, but it does some pretty good damage. And finally, Incinerate. I'll lose my fire attack, so save this if you're about to win the battle. That's my fire attack deck. If you can think of a better card, please let me know, but I'm not really interested in using Magma Mites, and like I said before, I've got better options to destroy my opponent's battle gear. Next, we'll go with the music. I know it's out of order, but I just want to do it that way. We've got, for my 6 music, Canada Casualty, Searing Symphony. This is only if my opponent has elemental attacks, but yeah, they might not have any elements at all. But I think it's still a good idea. What if my opponent has 3 elements? This could do 30 damage, but it could do more with a certain creature that you'll probably all see soon. 1 Song of Revival. I thought about 2, but I don't know. I think it'd be better to just have 1 so you can use other music. Refrain of Denial. It dispels generic or overworld music. That's limited to the... it only costs 1 musician, unlike the overworld Refrain of Denial, but it's good against generic music. Got Song of Desperation for healing music, just in case. And an Elemental Denial to remove the target's elements. This is going to be comboed with a location. Now the locations. Got 2 Underworld City, which the challenge, power 15, deal 5 damage. A lot of my Underworlders have high power, so that's good. 2 Lava Pond. Wonder why the initiative is speed, though, for both of them. Fire attacks deal an additional 5 damage. Air attacks, I don't have any air attacks, so... And Magmon gains Fire 5, so... And yes, I have Magmon. Underworld Coliseum. All creatures with an element type fire deal an additional 10 damage on their first attack. That's pretty good, in my opinion. 1 Stone Pillar. I mainly added 1 of these to use for Song of Revival. So if one of my creatures is gone and this location turns up, I would only have to use 1 Magician for Song of Revival. That's a good way to combo it. 1 The Passage to the Underworld. This is what I was talking about for the attack Dry Touch and Elemental Denial. First creature to lose an element type loses 10 energy. The Pits. Its initiative is fire, and engaged creatures gain outperform power 5. And damage up by speed attacks is reduced by 5. A lot of my fire attacks had challenge and stat check power, so this will do an extra 5 damage. And the Force of Life. It's just to gain some energy, since some of my Underworlders will have Recklessness. And that's my location strategy. Now for my 6 creatures and 6 battle gear. I have allergies, so that's why I'm huffing and puffing. First up, we have Copon, High Muge of the Hearth, with a Gigantrooper, since he's got super low energy and a lot of his stats are low. But truthfully, I'm hoping to find a Copon with 35. That's his max energy. It's not much, but hey, I'd rather have him at max energy. And this one's kind of beaten up when I bought it on eBay. At least I have a Copon, but I'm going to keep looking until I find one with max energy and in better condition. In the middle, we've got Nivena. She is super awesome. Max energy, it might be low, but her ability is worth it, especially for my creatures up on the front line. And I gave her a Destructozuka, so she'll have fire and fire 5. Hopefully I won't have to use her in a battle, and hope my frontliners can take out most of my opponent's creatures. But she'll have... I only plan on using her ability to do damage for one of my frontline creatures to gain fire 10, since this is a fire deck. And her other 2 are for herself to protect her, just in case. Copon's going to do Cannon to Casualty and Searing Symphony, but mainly I probably might use her to use Song of Revival. Next to her, we've got Magmon Engulfed. All my creatures with fire have Reckless 5 and Fire 5, so yeah, all my creatures will have Recklessness. And a Vile Driver to increase his fire attacks. I thought about running 2 Magmons, but Reckless 10, that pushes me away. I don't like that. Because I saw someone who... Every person who I saw battle with 2 Magmons engulfed, side to side, they lose. So I think 1 is enough. So if you want my opinion, 1 Magmon. 2, you'll lose easier. Recklessness 10 is not a good idea. Now for the front line, we've got Bareth Beyond. He's a pretty good creature. From Dawn of Param. He was Clay's favorite creature, and I'm surprised Kaz never used this creature. He had one, but he got one in the episode Trading Cards, but I don't know what he did with it. And I gave him a Berethian Axe because he already has Recklessness 5, so with Magmon he'll have Fire 10 and Recklessness 10, Intimidate Power 10, so he'll win he'll have Intimidate Energy 10 and Intimidate Power 10. Since he has Recklessness 10, it'll at least weaken his opponent with this battle gear. And his fire attacks will be powered up. Next, I'll save the middle creature, the ace of the deck, which you probably already know who it is, for last. Next, we have in episode 4 of Chaotic, Herculean called her the repulsive princess of the underworld. I'm calling her the ferocious princess of the underworld, Takinon, the Shadow Knight. And this artwork is the best, with a whip crack. So she gains 15 power and fire 5, giving her 105 power, fire 5 with her strike 10. This artwork is the best of Takinon, the Shadow Knight. The other one is fine, but I like this artwork more because you can see her face. Don't know why people like the other one more. But I spent a whole month looking for a max energy Takinam until finally my good buddy Chaotic Singles on eBay had one, and I bought it off of him along with the Gigantrooper. Thanks again, Chaotic Singles. And that's not all I bought off of him. I won an auction for this card. Taking up the front line is the ruler of the underworld, Kaor the Fierce. The Fire 10, max energy. And equipping with him is the Flame Blade of Siren. So all his attacks will probably do 30 damage. So he'll destroy my opponent's battle gear easily. That's what I like about him. This is Kaor's signature gear because that hand is actually Kaor's hand in the artwork. Don't know where this axe is. I don't think it's the Berethian axe, but yeah. And with Navena's ability, he'll have Fire 20 plus Magmon. He'll have Fire 25. That's what I'd use her Magician for. Fire 25 every time he does an attack. He'll be burning down all my opponents easily. So this is my Underworld team if it was in a 6-on-6 match. Do a quick Kaor is awesome. Light's blocking the way. And now, like before, I'm going to show you how I would set it up if it was a 10-on-10 match. All right, taking up the front line next to Kaor, I decided to go with Ketak. He's got an energy, Intimidate 10 energy. Oh, oops. And I gave him a Drill Dozer to make use of his Earth energy and the attack card Ashtorn. Since he has Recklessness 10, Magmon gives him Fire 5 and Recklessness 5. He'll have Recklessness 15. That's way more than Bareth Beyond. So I decided to give him a Drill Dozer to give him 20 energy so he can last longer in a game. Ketak is the only other creature I have who's not at max energy. So to all you Chaotic fans out there, if you have a Ketak in good condition with 75 energy and a Coupon with 35 energy and in good condition, please post it on eBay and I'll buy it for you. No questions asked. But yeah, I think Ketak's a good creature with his Intimidate 10 energy, like Bareth Beyond. And if Ketak's in trouble, about to lose, he'll have some backup. In the middle, I have Rothar, Forceful Negotiator. At first, I thought about putting Rothar on the front lines, but his ability forces him to attack. So I decided to put him back here. That way I won't be forced to attack with him. And I gave him his signature battle gear, the Berethian Axe. So that's 2 Berethian Axes, but yeah. This way, this is how you should use Rothar. Put him in the middle of your team or the back of your team so you don't have to, so his ability doesn't force you to attack and you can attack with whatever other creatures you want. Because I'd probably attack with Kaor and Takinam first, or even Bareth Beyond. And Ketak's has a good ability too. I think he could win a few battles. In the middle is the treacherous underworlder, Lord Von Blut. A lot of creatures have, I'm pretty sure a lot of creatures will have less than 65 courage. They lose 10 energy. And I gave him a Destructo Zuka as well, so he can have fire and fire 5, which means he'll have fire 10 and recklessness 5, but still fine, and can do Ash Torrent. I prefer this Von Blut than Von Blut's the minion one. I don't know if he's Servant of Ani or Servant of the Auracloth. But like I said, I made a vow never to put a minion creature in any of my teams. Because I don't want to deal with Marillions if they have a chieftain on. And that's what you Chaotic fans should be worried about. You should only use minions if you're putting a Marillion chieftain in the back. And finally, thanks to my good buddy Bulbasaur, we have a Cybernox with a Whip Crack. Other creatures with fire, Cybernox deals an additional 5 damage. I made sure all my creatures can do fire attacks. Sure, their Yavena's battle gear will be face down, and so will Von Blut's, but that's why I'm putting him back here, so he doesn't get into it. I felt Cybernox was a pretty cool creature from Fire and Stone, and I wanted to add him to my deck. So thank you, Bulbasaur, once again for this awesome card. And finally, the extra 4 Mujiks. I have Discord of Flame in case I lose my fire element. This will allow, or one of my creatures like Von Blut or Nevena, if they don't have fire, this will allow them to get it back. We got Consuming Cacophony. Deals 20 damage. It does 30 damage for 2 Magicians, but I think Cannon of Casualty and Syrian Symphony are better choices. But since when this is a 10-on-10 match, I'd add this. And if I get Stone Pillar, then it'll only cost 1. So if Copon uses it, well, Copon can't use it at Stone Pillar. Stone Pillar can only be used by a creature who in battle. An extra Cannon of Casualty to do some extra damage. And finally, Discord of Disarming. I put this in my set of 10 instead of 6 because don't really need it when Kayor's battle gear practically destroys my opponent's battle gear. Well, there you have it. You saw how I would do for a 6-on-6 team and how I'd do for a 10-on-10 team. What do you think? And like I asked before, if any of you have a Ketek with 75 energy or a Copon with 35 energy in really good condition and you don't want it, post it on eBay and sell it to me. Those are the 2 Underworlders I'm looking for. And for the 2 Mapedians, I'm looking for Koror and Owaiki. Well, I'm not going to get this out since I already... you saw it in my last video if you wanted to see my Mapedian deck. Koror and Owaiki from my Mapedian deck, and Copon and Ketek with max energy. I've got some Overworlders too I'm looking for still, but I'll show them when it's time. And now, a quick skim through the Chaotic Ultimate Guidebook. This will allow you to also see the creatures that would have appeared in Fire and Stone. I found this was a used one found on Amazon. I heard we were going to get a new Seattle and Jad cards, but Cougar, that's his Donna Parham one. Kaz and Peyton talking. I'm doing this one-handed, so I don't have any special item to hold my camera while I'm doing this. all the tribal leaders. Thebsar is the one I really wanted. And you saw I have an Ani. And there's the Danian Queen. Overworld tribe, that's Arius. Wonder if he's gonna get a new card. Got a good picture of Maxor, Elemental Champion. This is what he looked like. Yes, his card was released in promo, but I couldn't get one. I am looking for one if anyone also has a Maxor Elemental Champion in good condition with max energy that they don't like, but I'm pretty sure you all want to keep it. Nadrin Hymuge of the Lake. I am actually looking for one with max energy. Tangith Toborn. This is his picture in training, which I think is the coolest one out of them all. Interest. This is her as an Interest Nature Force. So no new Fire and Stone there. So far it was just Maxor. Atacat and Blugon. That's their card artwork for when they were controlled by the Marillions. Bolol. Frafto as Frafto the Hero. And you guys can pause if you want to read, but I'm just showing you the pictures. Iparu, that's his Donna Param look. Vidov, I don't think that's his from Fire and Stone. I believe it was from an earlier booster pack. And yeah, so only Maxor Elemental Champion was shown. Now the Underworlders. That's Dardamus, but that's his Donna Paramart. This is the one I mainly wanted to show, Kaor. This is what he looked like. He was going to be releasing Fire and Stone as well, looking like this, but I don't know what his abilities are. Wish he was released as a promo instead of the Danian Queen. They should have released Kaor instead, or the Mapedian King. But nothing we can do about it. This way you get to see what Kaor would look like in Fire and Stone. Lord Von Blut. That's what he looks like as a minion. But I like the Lord Von Blut that looks like this more. I like that ability more. I didn't add Gothos Tower because I'd only use Von Blut if it was a 10-on-10 battle. You've got Hearing, that's his Donna Param look. Talking on the Shadow Knight. That's what she would look like in Fire and... or not in... She was not going to be released in Fire and Stone. Bareth Beyond, that's him as an Underworld General, as I showed you in my last video. But that's only for mixed deck. This is the best Bareth Beyond you want to use for an Underworld deck. Copon, that's his Hymuge look, but looks completely, it's opposite. You've got Kaibon. That's what he looked like when he was being controlled by the Marillions. I thought about putting Kaibon in, the Kaibon from Alliances Unraveled, but at least his ability leads too much to chance in my opinion, so I decided not to use him. Magmon, Engulfed. Rothar, Forceful Negotiator. He's a pretty good underworld creature, but he's not being nice to the Mopedians from his artwork. We have Scythia. This is her Donna Perm look. She just has too low energy for me to use. The only creatures who can have low energy on my teams are Nivena and Copon. Their abilities are much better. But yeah, so far we got to see what Maxor and Kaor would look like in Fire and Stone. The Danian tribe, that is not from Fire and Stone. We got Azil, the Young Queen. They should have picked Kaor instead of her as the promo release. Probably could have gotten a lot more money before they stopped Chaotic production. I would have tried to get a Maxor and Kaor, and I still am looking for Maxor Elemental Champion. But yeah, if some of you are wondering, Lord Von Blut survived the Battle of Dranicus Threshold. I thought he was destroyed. Some people thought he traveled back in time by himself, but he's with the Danians right now. I get the feeling that in Fire and Stone, we might see a Lord Von Blut as an infected. But that will still won't stop his treacherous ways. He had a falling out with the Underworld, falling out with the Marillions. Now he's pick the Danians. Because no Overworld or Mopedian would trust him. They'd get rid of him on the spot. Hammerdune. He used to be an Underworlder. Now he's a Danian. Whatever. This is Alexia, Elder of the Nest. What she would have looked like in Fire and Stone. Probably would have gotten a battle gear and location from Fire and Stone. Got Lore, High Muge. The Danians aren't bad, but they just don't interest me in making a deck. There's Fash. Odu Bathax. That's from Alliances Unraveled. If I made a Danian deck, I'd put Queen Alexia, Azil, and Odu Bathax for sure on my Danian team. Probably Lore as well. Tassino. I think he's a Fire and Stone creature. And Wama as well. That's their Fire and Stone versions, what they look like. Now my favorite tribe, the Mopedian. This is Prince Mudinu, actually, and this is what he looked like. I think this shows that he was going to be in Fire and Stone as well with a new card. I believe it that Prince Mudinu would also get a new card in Fire and Stone. Thebsar, the King of the Mopedians. Really wish. It says here he's good with fire and air attacks. Wonder if he's good at earth as well. Here's a version of Prince Mudinu, Champion of the Guard. But as you saw earlier, I believe Fire and Stone was also going to release a Prince Mudinu card. Because actually, Queen Alexia wasn't released until Zenith of the Hive. There's Iflar, the Crown Prince. He was only shown in one scene in all 3 seasons of Chaotic and only said one word. Fire! When he fought the Marillions. That's it? That's all you have for the Crown Prince? That was kind of lame. Prince Houdini should be next in line, since he was shown more often. Got Blasvatan, Ace Mapedian Warbeast, Elarkin. I don't know if I said that right. It's a tricky name. Enrahap. I thought about adding Enrahap to my Mapedian team, but I'd rather focus on the Conjurers. Only a Waiki and Mudinu so they can give my other Mapedians invisibility. Garnalus, I thought about adding him once to my Mapedian deck a long time ago, but he has no elements, and his energy's not on the high side. Headmaster Oxygen, his other artwork, an original card, is better. I'm sure a lot of people agree. Naina, I think that's her when she was being controlled by the Marillions. And the Marillions. There's Ani. The Oracloth. Wrathtab. As of right now, something I want to tell you all, but he's dead. Wrathtab actually escaped the giant wave before Tanget, Toborn, Symphony of Stasis could freeze him like the rest of the Coral Fighters, but he gets killed by an Almageddon attack by Heptad's squire, Arctus. So, don't expect to see him anymore. Milaine. Felfor. This guy's a coward whenever I see him. But his ability is pretty good. His second card as a Fluid Morpher was better than his Underworld card. Barakatan, the Marillion Coralsmith. Erictab. He's also like Ani's second in command almost. Unhu Colin. Serline. Everyone says Serline is one of the best Marillion Fluid Morphers. And we got locations in the past. Vlar, he's okay, but I don't know. Not really. A lot of the past creatures aren't really that interesting, in my opinion. They're cool in their own way, but not enough to want me to put them in my decks. Kiru, Call. I thought about adding Call once to my deck, but nah. I decided not to. I like this team formation better. Praxorchasm, Drank Threshold, Kiwu Village, and the quiz. Locations, Kiwu City, Underworld City. This was going to be a Fire and Stone location, I believe. Nest of the Ancestors, Under Siege. That's probably going to be in Fire and Stone location. The Barracks, I believe that's already been. But Petty and Oasis during Icles Fest, that's a Fire and Stone location, I believe. And attacks. All got and battle gear. Just Donna Param stuff. Music. And how they created Maxor Elemental Champion. Here it is. I'm still looking for it, but it's a pretty cool card. Chaotic Online, the TV show. All 3 seasons are on YouTube. Tom, Kaz. I'm skipping this because I just wanted to show fire and stone creatures. Clay and Crystella. Codemaster Imthor looks different from the show. Krellin and Hotek. I was kind of hoping to see Tom face Imthor and the other Codemasters. And here's the episode. If Kaz used Kaor and the Vile Driver, he would have won against Herculeon. Just wanted to get that out. This is one of my favorite episodes. Showed Tanith Toborn at his coolest. And like I said, Shifting Sands was my first Chaotic episode. If Kaz had a song of revival in his music, he could have brought back Kaor and could easily have defeated Larina in Firefighters. We didn't even get to see him use Underworld City when the Flame Geyser bursted out. This was pretty cool where Maxor and Kaor teamed up. Season 2. You know, now that I think about it, since Tyrannic's threshold is destroyed, why don't they go through to the past through this thing? Kirar Mount, I believe it's called. From the G. This guy was really annoying. Putting the mute to music, Mr. E. Codemaster calls Earth to Kaz. That was embarrassing. Rasnus returns. But yeah, if you want to watch Chaotic, this should be in Season 2, not Season 3. If you want to watch Chaotic, go on YouTube. I really like this episode. Avena and Nevena are pretty cool creatures. This had my favorite line of all time when Kaor shouts, "You want to take over the underworld? You'll have to get past me first." Really like that. Hotek's challenge, this episode wasn't as cool as when Tom fought Codemaster Krellin. But whatever. Yesterday's heroes. Kaz made everyone go to Tyrannic's threshold now. I liked the gigantic mission. That was a cool episode. Threshold destruction. And this was a really cool episode because it finally showed me how Chaotic's played by the card. You know, we only saw it once when in the episode Fallen Hero, but this was a lot better. Elementary and Son of the Spirit Lands. I really hope Chaotic comes back. And there you have it. You got to see what creatures. There's actually another creature called Perithion, the Cobra from the Underworld. He's going to have a Fire and Stone card. So now you can look forward to Chaotic Fire and Stone, and this is my Underworld team. Like I said before, I'm looking for a Ketak with max energy and a Copon with max energy. But anyone has it and they don't want it anymore, put it on eBay. I'll buy it immediately. Name your price and I'll buy it. So there you have it. You saw my Mopedian deck, my Underworld deck. Tune in next week for my Overworld deck. Have a good day, everyone.